One day I just kept coughing and I just thought that it was the beginning stages of the flu. I had been coughing for like over a week. I had moved to Indiana, PA with my cousin, and I just gotten a pretty decent job after being unemployed for like 5 months. So I was really happy and really feeling good. I graduated high school in 2003, and my parents were really pushing me to, go to college and whatever, but I wasn't really mentally ready. But I went anyway. And as a way of escaping, I started to get into drugs. First, I started using pills like Percocets and Vicodins. Then I went on to the really big, hard drug of heroin, or the big kaboom, as I like to call it. And after several years' use of that, I got into trouble with the law, and I had to go to jail. I got clean, and I got out of jail, and I went back to jail two more times. And after the third time of going to jail, I finally said, enough is enough. It's like a light bulb went off in my head and said, I can't do this anymore. So then basically, I was at the call center one day and I coughed really hard. My chest got tight. And my supervisor said, well, you should go to the hospital. And I said, no, I'm fine. Nothing's wrong with me. I don't need to go to the ER because, like most men, I was one of those people who didn't like to, always run to the doctor for any little thing. But after further talking with my boyfriend, I decided to go to the ER. And after being checked out by the physician assistant, he said I had thrush in my mouth, which I'd seen it but didn't know what it was. And he said it was a symptom of HIV. So I'm like, oh my God, my heart just sank. Not even sank, it dropped. So they checked me out, I got an x-ray, and they said I had community-acquired pneumonia. They admitted me and asked me if I wanted to get an HIV test. So I said yeah. And the next day, the doctor walked in my room, and in his exact words, he was like, well, we're going to have to send you to Pittsburgh. And so I said, well, why? And he said, well, your test results came back positive, and we can't handle you here. And he just turned around and walked out the room. No type of compassion, no type of anything. So I really felt horrible. It was the nurses on the floor who actually had to come in a couple of minutes after him to see exactly how was I feeling and stuff of that nature. Got to Pittsburgh, they did further testing, found that I had other infections present, and I found out what my actual numbers were, which I had a CD4 count of 13 and a viral load of 511,000. So basically, my diagnosis was AIDS, and I said, oh my goodness, I'm gonna die. After all that was said and done, they sent me home with, various different antibiotics. I got my antiretroviral meds. Lost a couple pounds. I lost about 20 pounds in all. And then the side effects from the antibiotics was horrible. I had dry skin, I had itching, diarrhea. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it was really discouraging. I even had dreams where people were telling me that I only had a few months to live, and I was starting to believe those dreams. It was really becoming a real thing to me. Finally, things started to look up for me when, little by little, they started taking me off of each of my antibiotics. They switched out my antiretroviral meds after having all those fevers. The highest fever I had was 106.1. After all that was said and done, I was off all the antibiotics. I was on my antiretrovirals, and I started to gradually gain my weight back and get my physical and emotional strength back. So now today, I'm happy to say that my numbers, my CD4 count is 234. My viral load is undetectable, less than 20 copies, yay me. And I'm in school, I moved back home, and living a positive, healthy life, and I'm proving to everybody, including myself, that you can live a long, healthy, prosperous life with HIV.